already fly.
Yeah.
Why would I fly for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
You know? He said, but you love flying. I said, yeah, but I want to fly for the rest of my life. I just wanted a bigger challenge. And a bigger challenge would be to be an entrepreneur, because I'd have to learn new things. I'd have to learn 10 times more than ever than being a pilot. So for me, it was right for me to become an entrepreneur because I was really interested in learning about money and business and economics and all this. But most employees aren't. So for most people who are employees, they should get a job, work hard, save money, pay your taxes and all that. But entrepreneurs don't pay taxes. We don't save money. We use debt as money. And everything's different. And I don't invest in the stock market. But I had to pay the price, which was get my own education, not the stuff they teach you in school.
So how do you know that you're meant to be an entrepreneur? Is there something that you need to feel? Is there something that you need to do? It can be trained to anybody. Like you said, not everybody needs, some people are meant to be employees and want to do that actually. They don't want to.
Most people want to be employees.
Okay.
They want the paycheck and they want the pension. They want security. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But many people today don't have that choice. You know, if you lose your job, like my poor dad eventually lost his job. And then he realized going to school, getting a job didn't help him. He had a PhD. He didn't have the skills for the world. He stepped out of the academic world and onto the streets. You know, the cats ate him alive out there. Most school teachers cannot survive in the real world. Not in my world, at least, because they don't have the mental strength, spiritual strength, emotional strength, or the education to sustain the battles of being an entrepreneur. I have international businesses, thousands of employees. A school teacher, you know, they don't have that. They don't want that. But unfortunately, with artificial intelligence coming and replacing more and more people, you know, soon Uber drivers will be out of jobs too.
Because of Tesla and all these other ones that are creating,
driverless cars. So all the truck drivers and all this, they're out of work.
Which is the biggest category of employment in the USA. I think that's right.
Was it truck drivers?
Drivers, biggest employment category.
It's the biggest category for men.
Yeah.
You see all these men who are, you know, John Wayne and Tarzan and Rambo. Yeah. They're going to be out of work.
So what do you think? So let's say I'm 22 right now, or I'm 25, or I'm 30. Let's say I'm 18. Let's say I work with myself and I start questioning my beliefs and I start realizing that I've been brainwashed and there's no real reason I should get a job, I should do all these things. And I might be in a situation, because this is what most people do, they pay a lot of money for the education and they end it, and then there's no job waiting for them.
Because they learn nothing about money.
And they have the worst type of debt, which is student loan that you cannot.
Very smart young man.
Yeah. So, and they're like 130,000 in debt. So how do you recommend, because most people are in that situation, and they're even more attuned to safety because now they have debt, so they're afraid. So what do you think that person should do? They've started to question their beliefs. They got it. They know, okay, I've been brainwashed. I know, but what do I do now next?
Well, not to be commercial about it, but you know, that's why I created the cash flow game. Yeah. It's the only game that teaches accounting. Yeah. And most people come out of school, they don't even know what accounting is. They say, oh, they taught me to balance a checkbook. I'm going, big deal, you know. You have to know assets and liabilities. You must understand taxes. The rich don't pay taxes. Yeah. And the rich use debt as money. So the question is, that's what I had to do when I was in my 20s. I said, how is it the rich learn to use debt as money? That's a challenge. And the brain goes,
because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you got it. And then how do they not pay taxes? And what you'll find out in my new book, Fake, is the combination of debt and taxes. You see, the more debt I use, the less tax I pay. Right. It's counterintuitive. And
that works because you're creating jobs, or why is that working?
Well, there's many reasons, and that's why I have the best tax advisors. The biggest thing for most young people is that our schools teach us to be ICs, independent contractors, or self-employed, or even if you're an employee, you're still an independent contractor who has a job. And you do it by yourself. You know, I think much of the young world is in the selfie world. You know, look at me, look at me, look at me. Whereas in my world, it's a team sport. I'm a rugby player. I go on the field with a team, toughest, meanest guys I know. And so you could be the A student from Princeton, but I go on the field with 15 tough men, kick your ass. And so the average guy is coming out there, you know, like, oh, I got an A, I went to Princeton, I went to Harvard, and the corporate America comes out and they go, boom. So that's why when I talk to young people, I say, look, it's a team sport. So the first person I have is a bookkeeper. Bookkeeper is the lowest paid person on my team, but the most important.
Right.
The bookkeeper then keeps the accurate records that my accountant can use, and my attorney can use, and my banker can use. That's the combination there. And my banker, my attorney, and my accountant must work together as a team. Most people, their bankers, accountants, and attorneys don't work together as teams, because in school we're taught to take our tests on our own. If you ask for help, you're cheating. In my world, it's called cooperation. And what I found with most smart people, they don't know how to cooperate. They don't know how to ask for help, because in their brains, that's cheating. It means you're stupid. It means you're weak. It means you're stupid. I didn't have that problem because I was stupid in school, so I was asked for help. But the teacher says that's cheating.
And that's very interesting, because I had the fortune to start a company when I was 16 years old, and that was exactly the mentality that I had. If I don't do everything well, if I'm not the person that has all the answers, I'm failing. And I was not the best student, so I didn't really stuck by the rules. And I think that's an interesting thing with you. What rugby taught you, and being in the
Marine Corps.
Yeah, taught you.
When we flew into combat, we flew in as sections of aircraft.
Right.
We flew
Together.
in as teams. That's the military.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the lessons that you learned doing those things? Rugby, pilot.
Well, I look at most small entrepreneurs. I call it the selfie world. They're like, oh, look at me. Oh, look at me.
Yeah. The Instagram entrepreneurs, especially. It's great. It's just great.
I'm the smartest. Oh.
Right.
And I want the smartest attorneys, accountants, bookkeepers, bankers, politicians. I come at it as a team. Just think about this. It's like a basketball team. They're playing basketball. But you went to Harvard, you have a master's, your PhD, but you're playing against 5 guys. I don't care how smart you are. Those 5 guys will kick your butt all day long.
This is not in the movies. Bruce Lee cannot really beat 10 people in real life,
That's right. But that's what
in the movies,
believe.
that's what's perceived. Like, if you're good enough, you can beat 10 people.
Yeah, that's
in
not
real life,
true.
you're going to lose every time.
Not in the corporate world. So I operate according to the rules of corporate America.
Yeah.
I don't operate according to the rules of employee America. They're different. The tax rules for corporate guys is less than employees. Employees pay the highest taxes.
Yeah.
Guys like Trump and me pay 0.
And people are angry
Legally.
at that, which is very interesting. People are very angry at people that don't pay taxes, which is, again, a proof that people cannot wrap their heads around that.
Because they've been hypnotized and go to school, get a job, work hard, pay taxes.
Yeah.
Until they change those words, their lives are not going to change. So they get angry, but they're angry at the words in their head.
Yeah. So what are some of the other things, some key points that we could talk about from your new book? Because I know Rich Dad Poor Dad, you probably talked so much about that. It's a great book. I've read it when I was 15, and it's amazing that you've made accounting so interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a combination between an amazing storyteller and accounting, which is not the combination you would think of. So
Right.
I think when I look at it, I think that's the reason it had so much success, because people devoured it like a story, but it was accounting. So you tricked them.
You're a very smart young man.
So you made them eat their broccoli by making it look
Yes.
like a Big Mac or something like that. It's amazing. So we're not going to talk that much about that. But what do you think are some key things that was the reason that you wrote this book, and some things that we can give people?
Well, if Rich Dad Poor Dad was high school,
Yeah.
this is graduate school.
Okay.
So it's basically saying many of the same things at a little higher level of thought. So a person should start with Rich Dad Poor Dad. If they don't like Rich Dad Poor Dad, they'll hate this book.
Perfect.
Because they went to school, they got a job, they're working hard, they're saving money, they're getting out of debt, and they're in the stock market.
Right.
They're getting screwed.
Right.
But if you want to find out why guys like me